5,000 people happy right now. You know what happened last time? They was all happy at the beginning. Went home crying. Let's protect home. Let's go. Let's protect this. Kill it. Let's go. Cowboys on 3. 1, 2, 3, Cowboys.
And the game begins with a bouncing ball down to the 7-yard line. This is Jones starting left and going right, and the Giants' coverage is good. And Felix is taken down at the 24-yard line as we take a look at the Cowboys starting offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois.
Marion Barber III, Minnesota.
Roy Williams, Texas.
Patrick Creighton, Northwestern Oklahoma State.
Jason Witten, Tennessee. Martellus Bennett, Texas A&M.
Lovell Adams, Michigan State.
Kyle Kozar, Arizona State.
Andre Gerard, Colorado.
Leonard Davis, Texas. Mike Colombo, Boston College.
Good veteran offensive line. Each of those guys has been in the league at least 8 seasons. Adams is the senior citizen, the left tackle. He's been in for 12. Barber is the running back. Creighton's in the slot. Dion Anderson is the fullback, and Romo's going to throw, and it's a swing pass to Barber. And Barber with a little straight arm before he's knocked out of bounds. 2nd down and 5 from the 28-yard line. Pierce getting everybody set. He's the defensive quarterback. Now a draw play. The Cowboys run a lot of draws, and it's Barber to the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and short. Cofield in on the stop. Here's the Giant D.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern.
Fred Robbins, Wake Forest.
OCU Manura, University of Troy.
Danny Clark, Illinois.
AP,
Arizona. Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Kenneth Phillips, DU. Mike Johnson, Arizona.
Terrell Thomas, USC.
There's that rebuilt, at least for tonight's secondary, that Andrea talked about. Key guy, of course, is Webster. He's their best defensive back and normally gets locked up on the other team's best receiver. Tonight that would be Roy Williams. On 3rd and short, Romo has a lot of time in the pocket. And still the Giant defense does its job downfield, intended for Martellus Bennett. So they gave Romo some time. He looked, he pumped, incomplete. Spot the ball at the 17-yard line. 1st down. Brandon Jacobs is the running back. The fake to him. It is Manning escaping and then throwing, and upfield it is caught at the 48-yard line by Steve Smith. So Smith goes against Terrence Newman, the outstanding Cowboy corner. 32 yards off the fake, buying time, 1st down.
Steve Smith goes with a double move. Newman cuts him off, but because it was a bootleg, Eli had so much time to work, he just peels back underneath and makes a huge catch. What a start for the Giants.
For Smith now in his 3rd season, his longest career reception. He, in effect, becomes number 1 with Burris gone and with Amani Toomer gone as well. From the 49-yard line on 1st down. Manning throwing again, and that is caught. And inside the 40, and that's taken in by Dominic Hickson, and he's taken down by Ken Hamlin. And that takes a little air out of the crowd immediately. Good for 13 yards. 45 yards on the first 2 passes. The ball to the 38-yard line. Cowboys run a base 3-4, but send 5 rushers a lot on pass plays. And this is the big bull Jacobs at 6'4", 264. Let's take a look at the Giants starters.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Brandon Jacobs, Southern Illinois.
Madison Hitchcock, North Carolina. Steve Smith, Southern Cal. Dominic Hickson, Akron. Kevin Boss, Western Oregon.
Dave Deal, University of Chief Illini. Rich Soybert, Western Illinois. Sean O'Hara, Rutgers University.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Kareem McKenzie, Penn State.
Right guard Chris Snee, son-in-law of head coach Tom Coughlin. 2nd down and 6. That offensive line and Manning have made 33 consecutive starts together, over 2 full seasons worth. And that is Jacobs getting taken down in the backfield, something you don't see too often. Jay Ratliff, the nose tackle, right there to make sure he got him down a 5-yard loss.
Well, Ratliff is just one of the quickest nose tackles in the game. You'll see him shoot the gap right here, and his ability to get upfield. Now, Sean O'Hara is an excellent center, but I haven't seen anybody in the league yet with the kind of quickness that can make that cutoff block. You almost have to check out of that run if Ratliff is that side.
Ratliff finally getting the acknowledgement he's been due last year. Went to his first Pro Bowl. 3rd down and 11. Manning out of the shotgun. Cowboys jostle him. Then a wobbly pass is caught at the 20-yard line by Smith, and he's taken down at the 15-yard line. So Eli is able to hang in. He was contacted, got away, and then it's a 26-yard gain on the play.
Good for Manning. He stood in there pretty good. He may have even gotten that ball knocked loose a little bit in his hand, so it came out a little wobbly, but he stayed with it and found Smith.
So Smith with 2 catches for 58 yards on the Giants' opening drive. 5 minutes into the game, the Giants out of the shotgun at the Cowboy 13-yard line. Manning in the pocket, fires over the middle, and that's incomplete, and it's knocked down at the last moment by Orlando Scandrick. Getting the start, Scandrick winning the spot at the other corner opposite Newman in his second year out of Boise State. Smith left, Manningham to the right, double slot left. Manning throws and knocked down inside the 5-yard line. That's Mike Jenkins, their #1 draft choice out of South Florida last year. Jenkins coming in the nickel and knocking it away from Hickson. 4th down. 30-yard attempt for Lawrence Tynes, who was hurt last year, healthy again this year. Fiegels puts it down.
Lawrence Tynes scores the first points in the history of Cowboys Stadium. But when we return, Marion Barber puts the first touchdown on the board.
Straight up, they got Barber. Touchdown, Dallas.
The last time these two teams met was in Week 15 of the 2008 season. The Cowboys were in desperate need of a victory to keep any hopes of a playoff berth alive, while the Giants were cruising atop the NFC East. The Cowboys' relentless pass rush sacked Eli Manning 8 times, while Tony Romo's 244 passing yards and 2 touchdowns would prove instrumental. Rookie Tashard Choice's 38-yard touchdown run with under 3 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter would seal the victory for the Cowboys in what would ultimately be their last win at Texas Stadium.
Now, except for the overhanging jumbotron, that would look like the old Texas Stadium with a hole in the roof. The roof is open tonight. It's an 87-degree night, and this drive begins with a Felix Jones run for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Fake to Barber, then Romo throws to the outside. That's Witten, the tight end, and he's knocked out of bounds by Michael Boley, making his Giants debut. 3rd and 3. They have a 3-headed monster in the backfield with Barber, Jones, and now you've got Tashard Choice, and they'll send him out into the pattern, and he will make the catch, and Choice looks for a 1st down. It's going to be very close as the line judge goes right over to the marker. Terrell Thomas out of USC making the tackle, and that's enough for a Dallas 1st down. Official opening night at Cowboys Stadium. 1st down at the 48-yard line. Witten sets up in the slot. Fake to Barber, and then the pass is caught by Witten, and Witten is knocked down after a gain of 8. Michael Johnson making the tackle. A lot of good tight ends in the league, and a lot of people think he's the best.
And of course, Jason Witten talking to Antonio Pierce, he says, let's just put an end to this. This guy is the best tight end in football. He is always open.
2nd and 2 from the 44-yard line. Here's Barber, and Barber gets taken down. That's a beautiful tackle going through the middle. Matthias Kiwanuka in his 4th year. Giants picked him #1 out of Boston College in 06. Grabbing him, knocking him down, no gain. 3rd and 3. They run an inside draw, and that all belongs to Tashard Choice. Tashard Choice, who would be 3 on the depth chart. Barber 1, Felix Jones 2, and now Choice with 2 big plays, and that's another 3rd down conversion for him.
Looked like the Giants kind of moved early and maybe caused everybody to hesitate for just a moment, but when big Leonard Davis pulls around and comes down on you, nothing much Antonio Pierce can do but just take it. That guy is a load.
At the 40, 1st and 10. We go back to Barber. Barber with a gaping hole inside the 30 and knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Run down by Kenny Phillips. And the Cowboys alternating backs with a lot of success. Choice with 2 big plays. They go back to Barber, 27-yard gain.
Well, Marion Barber has been the main guy, and sometimes the New York Giants get themselves in trouble, especially early in games when they're amped up and try and over pursue. That time Marion Barber just simply snuck out the back door for a big run. Nice job by Flozell Adams there, turning out Umanura and creating the hole.
Now they flank Barber wide right. They go 3 by 1. 3 receivers to the right. Empty backfield. Romo out of the gun. Goes to the left side. And that is caught. And it is Martellus Bennett who turns a 9-yard gain into an 11-yard gain. And that makes it 1st and goal.
One of the real matchup problems that you have when you play the Cowboys is trying to play these 2 tight ends. What do? Martellus Bennett, a huge guy on the outside, and they're trying to cover him with a cornerback, Terrell Thomas. You get a big guy out in space like that, you don't know whether to bring a linebacker out there on him that can match up size-wise. You bring a corner because he's so athletic and so fast. And once again, they're splitting these guys out.
Bennett is 6'7", 266. Barber is the back, and Barber with a pass to the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown.
Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo on the double team just take everything back in the end zone with them. These guys are so big that no matter what you try to do to come off the double team, that time Fred Robbins, no match for those 2 big guys.
From the 25, now the Giants start this drive. Cowboys on top 7-3 with 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. And Manning has it tipped and incomplete, and that's Anthony Spencer, number 93. Starter now this season, knocking it down at the line of scrimmage, intended for the tight end, Kevin Boss.
Well, for so long, it's been Greg Ellis over there. Now it's Anthony Spencer. He's going to drop back with the tight end Boss, and that is a play that he certainly had an opportunity to make. It's really one of the tough parts about playing this Cowboys defense. About the time you get used to one of them coming off the edge to Marcus Ware, then you get Anthony Spencer. They're pretty good at disguising it.
2nd and 10. Jacobs behind Manning. Brandon Jacobs, punishing runner, gain of 3, popped by Brady James. Let's take a look at that Dallas D.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State. Jay Ratliff, Auburn.
Igor Olshansky, Oregon. Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Brady James, LSU. Keith Brooking, Georgia Tech.
Marcus Ware, Troy.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Ken Hamlin, Arkansas.
Orlando Scandrick, Los Alamitos High School.
They took Dominic Hickson back to the locker room, so the Giants are missing 1 wideout right now. It's 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun, Smith set to the right side. 3 receivers to the left. Manning gets hit as he throws. Arm coming forward. The pass is incomplete, and that's DeMarcus Ware. Big number 94 who comes around the edge as fast as they get to knock it down. Romo out of the gun has that one deflected, and that's rare. Tony last year had very few passes. Only 3 were blocked or deflected at the line of scrimmage all year, and that's the new Giants defensive coordinator, Bill Sheridan, who had coached the linebackers. And Chris, he takes over when Steve Spagnuolo goes to St. Louis. Williams wide to the right. Pierce barking out the defensive calls. And that pass is intercepted. Williams ran inside, and it's Bruce Johnson to the outside for a touchdown. A rookie free agent out of Miami of Florida. Johnson picks it off and goes in for the touchdown.
Watch Antonio Pierce. He sees Romo. Check. Pierce then reverses, checks. Look at all the guys change their coverage. Romo now doesn't have what he thinks he has and just makes a horrible throw.
He found something or knew something that was that they checked to that wasn't right, that didn't fit what we were running at first. So he checked it off.
Wow, I'm going to tell you what happened there. Antonio Pierce with the audible. He saw Tony Romo audible. Antonio Pierce checked the coverage. Romo didn't have time to change it again. And he found the young rookie free agent, the only rookie free agent to make the Giants this year, Bruce Johnson. He got picked on a little last week, but what a play here tonight.
Coming up next on NFL Replay, the Cowboys' turnover troubles continue.
5-yard line. This is Felix Jones. And Jones is going to drop the ball. And it's loose. The Giants had a great opportunity and still may have picked it up with a second chance. Mike Carey comes to the bottom of the pile. Of course, the Giants think they have it, but that's to be determined by the men in the black and white. And they do have it. First fumble of Jones's brief career. So Jones, as we said before, a home run hitter, coughs one up, hits into a double play.
It was such a strange looking play. Felix Jones just sort of casually going through there. And I think it was Brian Keel who got his hands on the football. And boy, it just looks like, and that's really not even much of a hit. We've seen balls slip out of people's hands so easily tonight. You just wonder if all the heat and humidity down there just on the hand, but that just cannot come out. In the NFL, you're going to get hits like that all the time.
And Sonoris Moss, of all things, a wide receiver, couldn't hold on, but then Keel is there. And the Giants take over in prime position at the 27-yard line with a 3-point lead, and the Cowboys have already turned the ball over twice on successive plays. You got Derek Hagan in the game for the Giants because Nixon's back in the locker room, and this is Jacobs rumbling for a gain of 7 yards before he's taken down by Ware, that time playing run coverage. And 2nd and 4. That's Brandon Jacobs who gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Play clock all the way down as Manning takes the snap. Good pocket, throws over the middle. Caught at the 5-yard line by Steve Smith.
You know, when you turn the ball over and then you give up explosive plays, regardless of what it is in the passing game and the running game, it's really, I mean, it's a dagger in the heart, you know, to a defense.
Jacobs. And Jacobs tries to keep those legs going, but that's Keith Brooking, another new Cowboy, longtime Atlanta Falcon, spent 11 seasons there. And one of the reasons Wade Phillips brought him in is that Wade, when he was down at Atlanta as the defensive coordinator, had him. They have Bradshaw as the back. 2nd and goal. Cowboys blitz, and they get Bradshaw, stack him up back at the 11-yard line, and that's Anthony Spencer leading the charge. Jay Ratliff is there as well, and now it will be 3rd down and goal.
Well, Tom Coughlin talked about it last night, how difficult it is to run outside against the Dallas Cowboys, and here's why. They just have brilliant players on the outside. That time Anthony Spencer had the presence of mind to get completely outside the bunch, and so he was able to maintain, contain, and make the play.
7-yard loss on that run. Spears was also in on the action. Ball at the 12. Manning out of the gun. Manning to the left side, and that's caught at the 10-yard line, but then taking a shot with Smith after a gain of 2. Mike Jenkins is right there, so they'll limit the Giants to a field goal attempt. Says Wade. 28-yard attempt for the only NFL player to have been born in Scotland, Lawrence Tynes, and that one is good. Barber. And Barber for a gain of about 8. Let me just correct one thing. Lawrence Tynes is the only active player born in Scotland. There were a couple of others in the past. So here's a Johnny Walker to you, Lawrence.
Got the big fullback here. Deion Anderson's going to come in and just lead block right through the middle here. This is the kind of man-on-man football you like to see if you're the Dallas Cowboys. If they can get the running game going and that kind of physical presence going, then those play-action passes start to work.
Barber and Choice are now together in the backfield. And this is Barber up to the 39-yard line. Romo, that shoulder move, and then the pass over the middle is caught by Miles Austin, who got free for a long touchdown last week, and then a flag comes in at the end of the play. Michael Johnson had the coverage on the play. Mike Carey with the call.
personal foul. Major face mask, defense number 20. Coming into the gun, 15 yards, automatic. First down.
And that's Michael Johnson.
You know, every once in a while you can see a quarterback take a deep breath and relax and look like themselves. Tony Romo that time stepped up in the pocket, and the one thing the New York Giants wanted to keep him from doing today is getting comfortable on the move. If they can keep him sort of fenced in back there, they feel like they can really frustrate him and cause some problems. There's the face mask at the end of the play.
Mike Carey using the adjective major. And this is a toss back to Creighton, swinging to the right. Romo is out there to block. Inside the 10, and knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Cowboy razzle-dazzle. Jones had it, tossed it to Creighton. He scored a touchdown last week, and he'll take some extra time on the ground here.
Now that time, Matthias Kiwanuka thought he had this one figured out, was screaming down the line and left nobody out there. Roy Williams did a great job. He just sensed when Creighton was coming at him and went after Corey Webster. You can see Kiwanuka thinking he was going to chase down the back and rut-row. But Roy Williams did a great job blocking in the game last week and had another good one there.
Austin split to the right. You got Romo in the gun on 1st and goal. Barber on an inside draw. And he stopped at the 1-yard line. Marion Barber, who scored the Cowboys' first touchdown tonight. Boley and Pierce in on the tackle. 2nd down and goal as we tick down to the 10-minute mark, 2nd quarter. It is 2nd down and goal. Barber is the back. He has Anderson as the fullback in front of him at the 1-yard line. And it's Barber seeking his 2nd touchdown of the night. And Barber does not get in. 3rd and goal from inches away. Same set here except for Hurd, who comes in motion. The fake this time to Barber. They swing it to the outside, and it's caught by Witten for a touchdown. Tony Romo loves to go to Jason Witten, but Witten, as we said before, if not the best, certainly in the top 3 of tight ends in the National Football League.
Great play fake by Romo, and Chase Blackburn on the outside really wasn't fooled. Witten just ran a better route. You can see Blackburn, he peeked in the backfield for 1 second. He looked back at Tony Romo for 1 second, and when he came back down, Jason Witten was gone.
Tony Romo gets some redemption, but coming up next, the Giants defense makes a game-changing play.
First down, Giants begin from the 24-yard line. Only 2 rushing yards tonight for them. And they get about 3 more here as Bradshaw goes through the middle. More than 8 minutes to play. The pass out into the flat. Next, Manningham escaping a tackle. And Mario, who scored a touchdown last week on a pass from Manning, was able to snap out of an Orlando Scandrick tackle and turn that into a first down. From the 42. With Bradshaw the back. He stays in the block, buys Manning time, fires over the middle, and that's caught in Dallas territory by Mario Manningham for another first down.
Manningham just looks like he is very comfortable. Watch him come back to the ball. These Giant receivers, maybe not the most talented in the world, but they are very well coached. Their technique is nearly flawless.
1st and 10. And again he goes to Manningham, and again he slips a tackle, but not the second time. That's DeMarcus Ware saying enough of that. Let's check in with Andrea.
Well, obviously a lot of focus on the Giants receivers. Now, after the first series of the game, doctors looked at Dominic Hickson's right knee. They sent him back in for 1 play. It wouldn't hold up. They took him in the locker room with a right knee sprain. He came out wearing a brace, but they're calling his return questionable.
Thank you, Andrea. Eli, in describing Hickson last night, called him consistent, can play any spot. 2nd down and 12 from the 45-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Bradshaw to the 39-yard line. Ahmad Bradshaw. And will set up a 3rd down and 5 for the Giants. 3rd and 5. And that pass is a little too long, and the coverage is very good. Intended for Manningham. Skandrick staying right with him. It'll be 4th down. Felix Jones is the running back as they spot the ball at the 5 after it was knocked first at that point, and then out of bounds by the Giants on the coverage, and the pass is incomplete, and they tried to get it into Witten. Pierce had his back to him, and that provided enough coverage. It'll be 2nd and 10. Well, they're going to run a draw here, and this time it's going to be stopped and stuffed in the backfield, because right there to make the play is Michael Boley, one of the new additions to the Giants. He served a league-imposed 1-game suspension last week. Picked him up from Atlanta. Tashard Choice flanks Romo. And they give it to Choice. And Choice gets taken down at the 8-yard line. Good tackle. Kenny Phillips. Dallas has all of its timeouts remaining. Tony Romo out of the gun on 1st down. Protection's good. The pass is right there. Creighton fields it on the run. Flag is down, however, as Creighton gets taken down up at the 47-yard line. That's Justin Tuck now, who is down on his hands and knees at the 6-yard line. Justin Tuck, the great defensive end for the Giants, is down. And here's Mike Carey.
Offense number 76. Half the distance to the goal, still 1st down.
That's the end of that play as Flozell Adams gets the tripping call.
Player in under 2 minutes requires his team timeout.
Maybe the easiest call of all, right side of your screen. You're going to see Tuck going back inside, and Flozell with a serious trip. That guy right there is a nightmare. When they bring him down inside on guards, they just simply cannot keep up with him. Here, Tuck's going to stab, come out. Now watch this quick move. Get inside, and Flozell knows there's nothing else he can do. But boy, that took away a huge play by Patrick Creighton. They jumped Jason Witten on the underneath route, and Creighton had it out to midfield, so huge change of momentum there.
And that is caught on the outside, and that is Williams breaking a tackle and finally taken out of bounds. He got out of a Corey Webster would-be tackle, and he's able to move the chains.
Corey Webster, the best of the Giants cornerbacks. But watch Roy Williams come out of this cut. That's how he made this play. No question, he is in much better shape than what he was when he left the Lions a season ago.
2nd down and 10 at the 24. Romo hangs in the pocket, and that pass is picked off. And Tony Romo throwing it into the hands of Kenny Phillips. Incomplete, it bounced. And Phillips thinks he has a touchdown, and Romo is saying, hold everything. Wait a second. It was a juggle. Coughlin comes out onto the field. Did it hit his foot, or did it bounce?
Oh, I don't know.
Take a look at this. It's off Witten's foot, right to Phillips, and that it has to be reviewed upstairs, and it will be.
I'm running that drag route, you know, it's man-to-man there. I think you got a little pressure, it's a little behind, you know, it's just, I don't know, trying to get my hand on it there. It's just, the guy made a good play, I guess, so.
Tony Romo just threw it behind him, hit off his foot, bounced in my hands, and I ran for the end zone.
Obviously, my mistakes really put us in a hole and allowed them to capitalize on some things that, you know, maybe we were keeping in check.
Mike Carey has taken a look, and here's his call.
After review, the ball hit the foot of the receiver and then was caught for an interception by the defense. Since the ball was blown dead on an incomplete, New York can get the ball at the 28-yard line, but the advance is nullified. 1st down.
It is too bad that the whistle blew, because there's a lot of plays like that you don't get a whistle. You know, it's like a bang-bang play, they don't blow a whistle. And in this case, they blew one, and it's unfortunate.
Phillips' interception gives the Giants great field position. But coming up next, we find out who's the Manningham.
He bobbled it off his foot. Touchdown, Giants!
Bradshaw is the sole back on first down. And Manning will throw, and that's caught on the outside. Into the 22 goes Mario Manningham, stopped by Newman. And that's a pass that will be juggled in the end zone and caught for a touchdown by Manningham.
I try not to let a ball come by my way without catching it. I mean, we got a little thing that we practice on in practice. If you drop a ball, you got to pay a little fine.
He's certainly played well tonight and does obviously give evidence that the other team has got to pay attention to him.
Instead of being willing to just run down the sideline and giving Newman a chance to catch up to the ball, he cut back in front of him and created that separation. Great play.
From the 34, first down. That pass is caught up at the 43. Whitten trying to get out of bounds to save a timeout. He doesn't. But the Cowboys were going to have to take it right here anyway. Second down and 2 from the 42-yard line. And Romo gets jostled as he throws, and that's incomplete. Third down and 2 now. They're going to give it to Barber to try to get that first down, and he does. And then take a very fast timeout, which they do. Though a couple of extra seconds elapsed coming off the clock. Romo at least trying to get them into field goal range. That scoreboard is 7 stories high. First and 10-ish from the 45-yard line. Now Romo going to throw. Barber's going to stay inbounds as long as he can and then get forced out of bounds with 13 seconds. Miles Austin with a block, and now the Cowboys putting themselves in field goal position, and with 13 seconds and still a timeout, they can run one more play here.
Well, this is what the Giants fear with Romo, giving him a chance to move up in the pocket and find somebody late. When he gets those extra couple of seconds, he makes big plays, and then it was left to the playmaker outside to make this tackle. Michael Irvin's the only guy that slowed him down.
Right now they'd be looking at about a 46-yard field goal. 13 ticks and 1 timeout. Here come the Giants on a blitz, and Romo's going to throw for the end zone, and it's juggled and incomplete. Williams, the intended receiver, Corey Webster right back there with him. It's second down. You have 6 seconds, and Romo and company look over to the bench, and in comes the field goal group. 47-yard attempt. McBriar puts it down, and the Cowboys are able to get 3.
The Giants took a 3-point lead into the break, but when NFL replay returns, their run game gets loose. Time to take a look back at the first half. Eli Manning looked solid in the first 30 minutes, going 11 of 18 for 149 yards and a touchdown. Manning's favorite target was third-year wide receiver Steve Smith, whose 5 receptions for 81 yards kept the G-Men's offense thriving, as the running game only managed to gain 12 total yards. The Cowboys' 3 turnovers, highlighted by Tony Romo's 2 interceptions, proved costly, as the Giants took full advantage, scoring 17 points off the miscues. Now let's send it back out to Cowboys Stadium for the second half action.
Remember, the Giants came out passing tonight, and with success on that first drive, which resulted in a field goal. Brandon Jacobs runs into his own men and then is able to cut it back and turn a 1-yard gain into a gain of 9. Stopped by Gerald Sensabaugh, the safety. It'll be second down and 1.
Well, that really was the story of the first half as far as the New York Giants were concerned. They had to totally rely on Eli Manning. Brandon Jacobs really just not doing much at all. He had 8 carries for 8 yards.
Second down and 1. Jacobs around the right side this time. A little stiff arm, breaks a tackle. A first down and a lot more, and as he gets taken out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Taken out of bounds there after stiff-arming Brooking. Sensabaugh with the tackle, and it's a gain of 31 yards for him.
But this is really on DeMarcus Ware on the outside to your right. He gets caught up inside. His job is contained. You cannot let Brandon Jacobs get outside like that. Once he gets into the secondary, almost impossible to get him on the ground. Check out the stiff arm. It doesn't matter who it is, linebacker, defensive lineman, whatever. When he sticks that big paw out there, you are in trouble.
So 40 yards on 2 rushing plays to start the second half. The ball is at the Cowboy 42-yard line. And they flip it out here, and that's another slip tackle by Manningham, and Manningham will pick up a first down. Mario Manningham, he's become a master at this. We saw him do it last week. It led to a touchdown. Third time he's done it tonight.
And really a horrible throw that time by Eli. Led him right into the tackle, and yet somehow Manningham escaped that.
Corner blitz. It's overrun. And here comes Bradshaw, and he finally gets taken down by Sensabaugh, but Hamlin came racing through from the outside, ran by him, comes back to help out on the tackle, gain of 19.
Wade Phillips can't believe it. He called the perfect blitz here. Hamlin's going to come right off the edge, and you got to make this tackle. I don't know where he's running. He's running to darkness there. There's nobody out there, and Bradshaw just jumped back inside him. So as well as the Cowboys played on defense in the first half, they're starting to look like what they did against Tampa Bay a week ago now.
Lombardi said run to daylight. You just coined run to darkness. Newman's back in the game. He's at the bottom of the screen. They give it to Bradshaw. And Bradshaw somehow staying on his feet, keeps those legs churning. Should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage, and just with an individual effort takes the ball to the 11-yard line. Third down and 7. Stack 3 receivers to the right. Eli throws short and almost has that one picked off at the 10-yard line. 29-yard attempt. Jeff Fiegels to hold it 4 times. And that kick is no good.
Things are going to happen. You're going to miss in this league, and I think you're based on how do you respond after those misses. So, fortunately for me, I've been able to handle that in my career. I've pretty much accepted, as much as I want to be perfect, I know I'm not going to be, and so when, if I miss a field goal, it's gone.
The Cowboys caught a break with a missed field goal, and when we come back, their run game will help them regain the lead.
Down after the missed field goal, the Cowboys with Jones in front of this record crowd with a gain of 25 to the 45-yard line.
Well, maybe some of the heat taking its toll on the defenses here. But Felix Jones, my goodness, this is what this crowd has been waiting for. They came with a blitz to the inside, very little support left to the outside, but look at all the missed tackles. Felix Jones is just one of those guys. He is electric in the open field. Averaged about 7.8 yards a carry in college and doing the same thing in the pros.
Run it draw. They run it with all of their backs, and this time it is Jones. He gets taken down by Michael Boley. And that pass is caught by Patrick Creighton at the 50-yard line.
Well, this is one of the favorite coverages here for the New York Giants. They show blitz, and then Antonio Pierce is going to jet his way back underneath the receiver on this side. So they blitz off the corner, and then it's Pierce's job to get out there and cover that slot. That time he does it very effectively, and the Cowboys have to punt.
From the 6-yard line, the Giants begin with a Jacobs run. And that time Newman is able to get there much better.
Yeah, faked me out once and not again. That time Terrence Newman came up and made a really solid tackle on Brandon Jacobs.
Third down and 8 from the 8-yard line. Manning hit as he throws into double coverage, and that's incomplete. Cowboys doing the job on both ends, putting the pressure on and covering the receiver, and you've got a flag down at the 12-yard line.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 54. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That is Bobby Carpenter. So instead of having the Giants punt from deep in their own end, first down.
Bobby Carpenter, who's been a bit of a disappointment, former #1 draft pick, right off to the right, is going to grab a little jersey. And he got his arm out there. Didn't slow him down.
Little irony there. His father played for the Giants. Rob Carpenter.
Tough call.
First and 10. 8:25 to go. Third quarter. Ball at the 13-yard line. Manning off that pump fake. Throws into coverage. And the pass is incomplete. Intended for Steve Smith. And a flag comes in very late after the play.
Yeah, well, Terrence Newman turned back into Steve Smith there. And if you cut off this route at the top end of it, they're going to call it. They're going to have a little discussion. It's a close call. It's a tough call. But when Newman turned back in and didn't look for the ball.
Defense, number 41. The start of a foul. Automatic. First down.
I like the call. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was when I saw it for the first time. Instead of turning back to Terrence Newman's left, he turns back into Steve Smith and cuts off his path to the ball. That is pass interference. That's a nice call.
And Phillips' reaction says it all. The ball taken across the 50-yard line. Brandon Jacobs, that's a gain of 5. Less than 7 minutes to play in the third. Blitz coming. Manning. And that time the tackle is made on Manningham as Newman trails him parallel to the line of scrimmage and makes sure that Manningham, who's been getting away all night from tacklers, doesn't get away this time.
That was a great play by Terrence Newman. Watch the speed to catch up. He has to go over the top of his own guy and just is too fast. That is the blazing speed. That's what you get with a #1 draft pick. And he is not happy over there on the sideline.
Felix Jones is the running back as the Cowboys start from the 17-yard line. Romo stepping up. Dumps it underneath and too high. Intended for Jones. And meanwhile for the Giants, a look at Justin Tuck, and we go to Andrea.
Well, Justin Tuck, looked like Tom Coughlin was too optimistic in the half about his return. His left arm is in a sling. X-rays on his shoulder were negative, and MRI likely tomorrow, but he is done for the night, guys.
And that means more of Matthias Kiwanuka, who can go from outside linebacker to defensive end.
You can see his left arm gets extended here when Flozell trips him, and that left arm reaches out. It probably just put too much pressure on that joint. It's a big loss.
And Jones will take off, and that home run hitter is into Giant territory and finally dragged down at the 25-yard line by Thomas and Webster. "56 yards for Felix Jones out of Arkansas."
The Cowboys love this intentional cutback play. You can see Deion Anderson, the fullback, start right, all the motion, all the handoff action goes right, and then he cuts left, and the big guy Felix Jones gets out there. I'm surprised he got caught. That was a heck of a play by the Giants to track him down.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. The ball at the 27-yard line, and Romo will turn and give the ball to Barber, and Barber will cut to the near side, and Barber will be taken down, and he's close to a first down before he gets run out of bounds by Kenny Phillips.
Giants are starting to lose contain on the outside that time. And Marion Barber, with that nasty stiff arm of his, picked up 10 yards where he really probably shouldn't have had any. Right at the point of contact on the outside, he's going to get a good stiff arm there against Thomas. And that loss of contain cost the Giants there.
From the 17. Barber again. Inside the 10, inside the 5, and Barber is taken out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Webster and Phillips.
Kyle Kozar and Flozell Adams are blowing huge holes open, but watch this cut by Marion Barber. You talk about look like a crab going sideways here. He's going to start to the right. Anderson back the same way. Jump back over in that hole and reaccelerate. What a drive so far by the Cowboys.
Barber behind Anderson, and no, the Giants are right there to stuff it. For a minimal loss, it'll be second down and goal. Kiwanuka is in on the play. Second down and goal upcoming. Williams to the left. Austin flank to the right with Creighton in the slot to the left. They could also run a draw with Barber as well. They fake the draw to the end zone and incomplete. Intended for Patrick Creighton. That'll make it third down and goal. And Romo on a quarterback draw. Touchdown Dallas. Jason Garrett spread them out. If they don't run the draw to Barber, you don't think about Romo. And look at that opening.
Got 4 wide over here, and then Kyle Kozar is going to come down and seal off the last of them. And a walk-in for Tony Romo. Great call, Jason Garrett.
Coming up next on NFL Replay, Eli Manning and the G-Men's offense respond.
Run down the middle, wide open. Steve Smith dives in. Touchdown, New York Giants.
The first game at Cowboys Stadium set an NFL regular season record with a crowd of more than 105,000 people. This was nearly 2,000 more than the crowd that gathered in Mexico City's Azteca Stadium in 2005 to watch the Cardinals take on the 49ers. The Cowboys Stadium crowd also set the record for an NFL game in the United States, surpassing Super Bowl XIV's matchup between the Steelers and LA Rams at the Rose Bowl.
First and 10 from the 43-yard line. Romo stepping away, buying time, throws complete, and that is Michael Johnson whacking Sam Hurd after he makes the catch. Second and a deuce. Here's Barber. And we'll see where they spot it. At the 46 on first down, Hurd in motion. Romo, a lot of time. Romo going deep, and only Giants are there. And it's picked off at the 4 by Kenny Phillips. And his second of the night and the third Romo interception. And now Pierce wants a foul at the end of the play. The pass intended for Sam Hurd, but the Giants with great coverage. And another bad pass by Romo.
Kenny Phillips was standing right underneath this. Looked like a punt back to him. He's so deep. There's no way that Tony Romo saw him on this play, because he kind of play fakes off to the right. Witten's going to hook up, and they're going to try and hit that deep cross. And Kenny Phillips did everything but fair catch that one. Tony Romo just never saw him. You say, how can that happen? And sometimes it happens. He just absolutely never saw him.
No excuses. You throw an interception, it's an interception. Turn the ball over, it's a turnover. I mean, it can't happen.
Tough night tonight for Tony Romo, though. Really, but for his mistakes, the Cowboys have dominated at times.
27-yard line, first and 10. Waning moments of the third quarter. Jacobs, the back. Fake to him. Eli's going to go deep, and Eli's going to man out in front, and it will be caught by Manningham, who beats Scandrick and hauls it in, and Scandrick makes the tackle at the 24-yard line. So the Giants get the pick and then strike right back.
Well, you know Brandon Jacobs got the running game going, and watch this time, Ken Hamlin here, as Jacobs goes to play fake this way, he's going to get frozen in space there and give Mario Manningham enough chance to get up and get by him. It's the one thing when you study tape of the Dallas Cowboys, their safeties like to take chances. They like to come up. They like to get involved in the running game, and sometimes your corners pay the price.
First and 10 at the Cowboy 25-yard line. Jacobs. Second down and 8. Jacobs. And he gets stripped out from behind. Feet taken out from underneath him by DeMarcus Ware. Good protection. Eli with time. Wide open is Smith. And he will dive into the end zone to put the Giants on top again.
What a move by Steve Smith. Earlier I told you, Al, this kid's one of the great route runners I've seen. But he just simply put the little okey-doke right here on Skandrick. Out, up, goodbye.
Steve Smith, Manningham, both of them had unbelievable games. Some big time catches, big third down conversions.
We're playing more man-to-man than we played, and I think that's it's a work in progress.
And I feel the coaches did everything to prepare us. For whatever reason, me personally, I didn't prepare myself, and I didn't play well enough to give our team a chance to win.
When NFL replay returns, the Cowboys running back tandem gets back to work.
Give it to Jones, straight up they got. He's at the 2-1, he's in, touchdown!
This is Ahmad Bradshaw. Under 12 minutes to play, second down and 11. The Giants have the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, Eli's got him in a blitz, but the Cowboys don't check out of it.
They check out of it. Four-man rush, and the pass is still there. And that is the budding star, Mario Manningham. You don't want to make too much too early of this kid, but what a night for him.
You know, Eli thought he had the man coverage going, so he goes to that Super Bowl play. Remember that one? Plexico Burress, the little sluggo, the slant and go. But it was really his own, and they got it in there anyway. Manningham just keeps going up and making plays, and I think they may have found their #1 receiver.
And Steve Smith also had a very good night as well. 6 catches for 103.
So does Eli.
Yep. And that with Hickson out of the game early. From the 34-yard line, Bradshaw again. And the Cowboys whiff on a tackle. And that's another first down because it was Orlando Skandrick who's gotten burned on a few plays tonight, who came up and did the Olay.
Well, Anthony Spencer's going to come right off the edge here, but his job is contained. He's out there coming after the quarterback. But you remember watching the Pittsburgh Steelers, those outside linebackers, how they squeeze that thing down in there? You got to make it easier for those defensive ends to make plays. And when Spencer's running up the field, he's leaving a big gap in there.
At the 23. Bradshaw. Manning stepping up, stepping away, turning back, throwing. After doing a 360, and he gets rid of the ball, but short of the first down. That's Steve Smith coming back to make the catch, and the Giants will send in the field goal group.
Eli's turned into Ben Roethlisberger on us here. Check this scramble out. Out around Steve Smith, coming in, coming out. Eli a little pirouette, got a completion. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that play. Not quite as good as Donovan McNabb, that one Monday night game you had, but not bad.
Wow. This will be a 36-yard attempt to give the Giants a 6-point lead. Times. And this kick is good. Starting from the 29-yard line, Barber is the running back. He gets it, gets a big hole, and gets a first down. Picks up a dozen yards out to the 41-yard line before he's taken down by Antonio Pierce.
Boy, the fullback Deion Anderson is having a game out here tonight. Huge block in the hole, man against man, just old-fashioned football. Watch number 34, this intentional cutback play again. Gets just enough there. Big block against a defensive end. Nice play.
Second down and 8. Romo throws, and that pass is incomplete. Romo has only 11 passing yards in this half. And he'll add to that here as Witten makes a key grab on a 3rd and 8 for a first down in Giants territory. Gets tackled by Michael Johnson at the 45-yard line.
Well, when all else fails, you know where Tony Romo is going. They thought he was going in behind into that deep middle, and then he just arrows back out of it. And I go back to Antonio Pierce, who said that there's just something about this guy. He's not that fast, he's not that quick, but every time you put on the tape, he is always open. And there he was again.
5.5 left. Barber on a draw. It's taken down by big Fred Robbins, number 98, game 4. Barber inside the 35, a first down, inside the 20, chased by Johnson, and he falls down inside the 10-yard line. Bruce Johnson chasing him. It looked like Barber might have started to stumble a little bit at the end.
Well, Antonio Pierce was trying to make an audible. He's trying to call a blitz, but Tony Romo beats him to the punch. They go the wrong way. Now the question is, did this ball come out before he's touched? It's pretty clear Marion Barber looks like he pulls a muscle there, and he goes down. And when does this ball come out?
Right.
It came out when he hit the ground, but was contact made right there? And I think it will be down, but that was close.
Very close. I think he pulled a quad muscle. Now they give the ball to Felix Jones, and he goes in for a touchdown. So Barber does all the heavy lifting, that 35-yard run, and then Jones pays it off, and the Cowboys can take the lead with the extra point.
Sorry, I'll check out Kozar coming into the hole and just absolutely wiping out Danny Clark. Great blocks inside. The left guard pulls around, and look at that block. Oh, my goodness.
When we return, Eli Manning leads the Giants to victory.
From the 25, 4-man rush, dump it underneath to Kevin Boss, and Kevin Boss with a flag down back at the 23-yard line for the moment. Would have picked up a first down pending the call.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Personal foul, leg rip on number 80 is declined. Holding by the offense, number 69 is accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
Manning throws, that's caught, Bradshaw, and he gets taken down outside. That's Ratliff, the nose tackle, going outside to cover the back in the flat.
Pretty amazing when you see a nose tackle cover in the flat, a very quick back. Look at number 90. The nose tackle go out there and make that play. We've been showing you all the penetration all night long. What kind of a defensive scheme, what kind of a madman draws that one up? Well, only if you got a guy like that can make that play.
He's 105 pounds heavier than the guy he's covering.
Goodness gracious.
2nd and 18. Crowd in full throat. All 105,000. Manning pressured, throws on the run, and that's caught by Derek Hagan. So Hagan getting to play in the game at this point in the game, again, because of the injury earlier on to Dominic Hickson. Otherwise, Hagan would be on the bench.
Well, this Giant offensive line, after taking all the abuse the last time these two teams played here, giving up 8 sacks has been brilliant.
The Giants have 2 timeouts. Remember, they took one earlier. And if they don't make a first down here, there is going to be a very tough decision for Tom Coughlin to make. Do you go for it on 4th down? Or do you punt it away and use your 2 timeouts and hope to stop them? He hopes it's moot. He hopes they can complete one here, and they do. So we'll never know the answer to that because it's caught by Steve Smith up at the 39-yard line.
Well, Mr. Reliable one more time. He is sort of become the Amani Toomer of this team as they come back up with the hurry up.
At the 40-yard line. Again, all the Giants need is a field goal so they can milk a little bit of the clock on their way down the field. Plenty of time with 2 timeouts. And that pass is caught and then it is dropped. Manningham had it initially. Scandrick was all over him, and he never had it. Incomplete.
I think that's a break for the Giants.
Yes, it is.
You know, that's a 2-yard completion. You can see Manningham basically waving his arms, trying to talk the official into an incompletion. That's about the strangest looking thing I've ever seen.
Right, and you would have stayed in bounds, and the clock would have kept running.
So far, the Cowboys staying with a 4-man pressure. They haven't brought any blitzes yet.
2nd and 10 from the 40. Now they show blitz. Manning throws, and that is caught, and that'll be a first down, and that is caught by Kevin Boss, the tight end. He's tackled by Sensabaugh, and the ball is now in Cowboy territory, ticking down to 1:15 left.
Kevin Boss, what he lacks for quickness, is pretty good in the open field once he gets running, and just ran away from Sensabaugh there.
From the 47. 4-man rush. Manning throws, caught, stopped at the 41 is Smith by Jenkins.
Eli totally under control. Just looks like he's so comfortable in this situation, and we certainly have seen this one before.
The first down away from field goal range, and Manning will throw, and that pass is high. It's incomplete, intended for Steve Smith, and the clock stops with 39 seconds. 3rd down, 4. From the 41.
They're coming.
And it's looked like it was tipped and caught at the 33-yard line by Mario Manningham. So a first down with half a minute to go. And at the 33-yard line, you're now looking at about a 51-yard field goal. Again, the Giants with 2 timeouts. Manning over the middle, and that gets them clearly within range for Tynes, as Steve Smith makes the catch, and they stop the clock with 13 seconds remaining in the 4th period.
I'll tell you what, Eli Manning is just putting on a show out here. Sometimes it takes a lucky break along the way when you get a good drive going. 3rd down. And they're going to get a hand on this ball right here.
They are. Yes, sir.
That's Ratliff. And one of the tough things for Mike Jenkins, you have to know the situation there. When you're talking about you're bringing a blitz, you cannot let those slants beat you. That's most teams' hot reads in that situation, and he had to realize what it was.
And all Manning will do is milk the rest of the clock.
That was strictly so they didn't have to kick off after this field goal.
Right.
Now you take the timeout no matter what at 4 seconds. The game is over after this field goal attempt.
And now Tynes can become the hero the 2nd week of the season.
Well, and you know what's so significant about this one? If the Giants win on this kick, that means they'll have 2 wins, both against divisional opponents, and coming in here and knocking off the Cowboys. Can't get any bigger.
And they're beginning a 3-game road trip as well.
And Wade just said that we should call a timeout. We're going to freeze them here. So right before this kick, I think you're going to get a timeout. Wade's going over to the official now.
37-yard attempt.
Wow.
Fiegel's got the high snap down, and the kick is
Wade got the
inside.
timeout.
Well,
Wade got the timeout.
He did. They got the timeout. So
it's not over.
Timeout, Dallas.
I kicked it. I thought we won. So the first one wasn't real pretty, but it went in, and I didn't hear the whistle. I wear earplugs, so I don't hear anything out there.
I thought that was an awful close timeout. And of course, in this day and age, we're giving them as soon as the coach talks to the official, you're getting it. Then he lined up and did it again.
And when he calls for this timeout, the official reacts immediately. But Wade, I'm telling you, there was not a half a second between that timeout and the snap.
And Fiegel's got the high snap down, and then Tynes kicks it just inside the left upright. And you had the premature celebration, and now we'll have to do it again. To win the game. and it's good. And so the New York Giants can celebrate on the home turf, the new home turf of the Dallas Cowboys.
Sunday night, playing in a new stadium, biggest crowd ever for an NFL football game. You know, those are the situations you want. If you have a fourth quarter, 2-minute drive to go win the game. You know, I don't know how it gets any better than that.
My hat's off to the Giant team and also to the Cowboys for the kind of football game that they played too. They battled, they came back, we came back. You know, it was one of those type of games right to the wire.
I lost twice. I lost once as a head coach and once as a coordinator. So, you know, it's double.
And we played good football tonight. It just cost us, and that's, you know, the bottom line with this. It's just I have to get better at the mistakes I made, and I will.
Hey, 2-0 in the division.
That's right.
I'll tell you something. It's not always pretty, but you are fighting your asses off. And if you keep doing that, you hang together every snap, every play, and hang together and fight your asses off, man. We're going to have a hell of a football. Do it.